All right, so today's video is going to be the first installment of what we're going to call the Joe Knowledge series. These videos are going to be quick, little sound bites of information. This is all stuff that any soldier should be proficient in. This is definitely going to be knowledge that you will be tested and checked on later by your leadership, so make sure you take copious notes. Today's discussion, we're going to talk about METT-TC. What is METT-TC and when do you use it? METT-TC is the systematic approach to decision making. It covers pretty much all of the considerations that you need to make any tactical or practical decision. A lot of these components to this acronym are overlapping with each other, and we'll get into that as we move along. So METT-TC stands for Mission, Enemy, Time, Terrain, Troops, and Civilian Considerations. So let's break that down. Mission. This is the first thing that you're going to consider, and obviously it's the ultimate goal is completion of your mission. So pretty much everything else is going to revolve around this. Is your decision going to conflict with the mission? E is enemy. So considerations when considering the enemy is going to be your exposure. Is what you're trying to make a decision about going to cause unneeded exposure to the enemy? What is the size of the enemy? Is that an element that you are able to take? Are you looking at an overwhelming force if you go one direction versus another? So that pretty much covers your enemy considerations. That's encompassing of anything that may involve any interaction with the enemy. So time is the first of three T's. Time is going to be, what are your time constraints? Does your mission have you on a time constraint? Are you trying to meet time hacks or people waiting on you in certain locations? You have to consider how long is this going to take, or how much time am I allotted to do this? So that would be a time consideration. The second T is going to be terrain. And this is where you really start to see some things start to overlap here. So is the terrain that you're facing while making this decision, is that going to conflict with your time considerations? Is that going to conflict with enemy exposure? Is that going to conflict with your mission? So you have to understand the terrain that you may be traversing, as well as, what kind of situations is that going to put you in? What size element are you trying to move through these types of terrains? The last T is going to be troops. Troops is a consideration of the people that are with you, their capabilities. This goes back to terrain. This goes back to the size of your element. Can they move efficiently through this area? How much time is it going to take? Again, now we start to see a compilation of all the things that we've been talking about here and how they start to cross-reference each other and really start to paint a picture of decision making. So your final consideration, the C in METT-TC, is civilian considerations. And what we mean by that is, okay, let's say that you're, maybe going to call in some IDF. How many civilians are in the area? You really need to take that into consideration when you're doing anything like that. Civilian exposure, maybe you're trying to keep a lower profile. What would be the civilian interaction with your decision? And what risks may you pose to a civilian population? So that's your civilian considerations. So again, METT-TC, you can see how it's used. You can actually pretty effectively use it as an answer when you're asked, hey, are you heading to New York or are you heading to California? When you're just doing a rock drill type scenario, it could easily be METT-TC. But in making that decision, you're going to look at, what's the mission? What's the enemy exposure? How much time do I have to move? What's the terrain like if I go this way versus going this way? What is my element of troops? How well are they going to be able to accomplish what I'm asking them to do? And what kind of civilians may I encounter along the way? So there you can kind of see a quick little breakdown of what METT-TC is. Fully understanding what METT-TC is makes it very easy to remember. And I hope you took good notes because I'm sure you'll get checked on later.